Hello, Pauper fans. This is Mathonical. You're joining me for round one with Delver Mill. Our opening hand is absolutely fantastic. We're not going to be on the damage plan this time. We're going to be completely on the Turbo Mill. So, we're going to go ahead and keep it. Because we have two Jace's Erasures, my plan is to turn 2 Jace's Erasure, turn 3 Jace's Erasure plus Brainstorm, and that should get the Turbo Mill plan going really quick. Swamp is a very nice thing to see. Basically means we're against some kind of control deck, and it looks like a blue-black control of some sort. So this plan is very good against them. They might have some anglers or whatnot, but it usually takes them a little bit to get online. Sure, we're going to be helping them get them out with the Jace's Erasures, but should be alright. Turns out our opponent doesn't want us seeing what's in their deck at all, so after we cast a second Jace's Erasure and cast the Brainstorm, our opponent decided to concede. I'm assuming the contents of their hand wasn't good or cut out for this matchup, maybe a lot of removal. So I think it was a slightly early on the concession there, since they still had reasonable winning chances if they had some Gurmags, but to each their own. We're going to jump over to game number 2. Take a quick look at the sideboard. And basically, I'm assuming that their deck had quite a bit of removal. I didn't see it, and that's probably why our opponent conceded early. But we're going to take out 2 Spire Golems, just assuming that they are on a lot of removal, and instead bring in 2 Dispels. We do know they have counter magic, and I'd like to stick on the mill plan as much as possible. So we'll jump into game number 2. Our opponent decides to give us the play, which I don't think is correct. I'd imagine that they'd want to keep up counter magic for Jace's Erasure, which means they do need to be on the play, but here we are. Opening hand is as good as the last one. We even get a turn 1 Delver, and then we get to try and land 2 Jace's Erasures, followed by various draw cards. So we're just going to go ahead with that plan. So we were fairly lucky that we were able to find a Gush on top. Means we get that lucky turn 1 flip with Delver, and now we're just going to get down our Jace's Erasure while our opponent doesn't have any counter magic available to stop it, since our main win condition is using Jace's Erasure. Would have liked to see a land there, but we should be able to find some land with our redraws. So we're going to go ahead and cast a Ponder here. Or, sorry, my mistake. Because they didn't have any counter magic visibly open, they could have either Prohibit or some other, like, negates or something. But I felt like this was probably one of our better chances to land a Jace's Erasure, since we know counter magic or counter spell itself is offline. So I'm just going to go ahead and try and play this. It's a little bit greedy, but it does mean we're on the Turbo Mill plan all in if this sticks. Turns out our opponent does have a miscalculation. I'm assuming that's for like budget concerns. Prohibit might be a little expensive. Avoiding a pun there, just so there's no groans. Preordain, that looks fine, and an island. Alright, so they still have more miscalculations if they have them in their deck. And we're just going to swing in, get our damage in. I would still like to see a land at some point, but we'll do what we can. I'm going to go ahead and go for a Preordain. And our opponent does end up going for a miscalculation. Alright. We'll just play our Thought Scour then, hoping for a land. Snap. We'll do what we can with that. And since our opponent is completely tapped out, I am going to go ahead and cast Gush. The main reason being, I would like to make a land drop, and this means we get to cast Gush, make one of our land drops, and looks like we did draw some fairly good cards with the spell. Gonna go ahead and mill our opponent a little bit, and it looks like they milled a Gurmag, so that is one way that our opponent could win if they manage to land some Gurmags, since we are making it very cheap for them. Since they're tapped out, I'm just going to cycle this Thought Scour as well. I'm not really afraid of any instant stuff. If they kill our Delver of Secrets, I'm fine by that. And a Stormbound Geist. Okay, looks like they're going to be trying to fight in the air. And we do have them down to 12, but I don't think that our game plan is to win with damage. And there is a Gurmag Angler. Since they're tapped out, I'm going to go ahead and cast Snap on the Gurmag. The main reason being I just want to slow them down. And best way to do that is just to get the Gurmag off the board. I know they will be able to replay it next turn, but that's no big deal. Here, I'm just going to hold up both Dispels, mainly because I don't want to be casting Gush. Don't have a land drop available. Playing a bunch of creatures, that does make sense. It does seem like that is their most likely way to win, is to try and beat us down before we mill them out. We're going to go ahead and play the Spire Golem here. It does open us up to instant speed spells, since we have these dispels, but the main reason I'm playing it out here, it will disincentivize attacks from the Stormbound Geist and the Zombie, and possibly even the Gurmag Angler. I'm not going to make the double block, but our opponent doesn't know that I'm not going to make the double block. So we'll just leave it up to our opponent what they want to do. And it turns out no attacks. That is great news for us. Daze isn't likely to come into effect here since our opponent has quite a bit of mana now. And I'm going for the Gush, mainly because I'd like to get some card draw going on. And opponent tries to counterspell. I'm going to go ahead and use one of my dispels since I've got two of them. I would like to draw some new cards. Preordain is fine, just going to cast that, and basically I'm going to put the land to the bottom and Ponder to the top. I don't need any more lands, and Ponder is a nice way of just continuing the mill plan while digging for something else in the future. I'm going to play the Ponder here, and unfortunately I didn't stop it quick enough to see what this first card was, but I believe it was an island, and then these are both cards that we would like to see. Basically next turn we can go for a Ponder into a Whirlpool Rider and just kind of get the turbo mill plan going. So we're quite happy keeping those on top. I'm not going to cast the Ponder here because I would like to keep up the Dispel. Our opponent may decide to go for the Gurmag attack, and I would like to double block it, preventing any instant speed stuff from hitting us. I'm going to let the Forbidden Alchemy go there because I do want to hold the Dispel up for this block, and if our opponent is going to be milling themselves, that's just helping our own game plan. Seems like our opponent doesn't have any tricks, so we just ended up trading our Spire Golem for their Gurmag Angler, which is great for us. That was a terrible set of 3 cards, so we're going to go ahead and shuffle, but we end up getting a land anyway. But it is fine, we're just going to play this Whirlpool Rider. It's going to mill for 5, and this is amazing. 5 cards to have drawn off that. Basically, we're going to be able to go for the win next turn. We're going to go for double Brainstorm plus Whirlpool Rider. We're looking at least like 3, 6, 11 milled cards, plus 1 for a draw step, so our opponent doesn't have many turns left to go. I'm just going to trade off the flipped Delver, just to prevent some damage, and at 14 I'm feeling pretty comfortable here. Having a second Whirlpool Rider does mean that even through counter magic we should be able to get the win, and after casting the Brainstorm our opponent does end up conceding. I assume they have no counter magic to interact with what we have going on, and they see that they're not going to be able to win before we really mill them out, so our opponent decided to save some time, and we did manage to win round 1, so I'll see you all in round 2.